Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. Welcome to Ignite Your Spark, because really, marketplace success doesn't happen automatically. If you've launched and nothing is happening, or you've tried to co-sell and it's inconsistent, or the opportunity is there, but you don't know where to start, you've come to the right place. Today is not a product demo. This is a community conversation about shared challenges and a true pathway to real marketplace success. So, we'd like to welcome you as part of our community, as part of the Spark community. And we're going to kick off this conversation to understand how we even started this pathway. But before we really get going, I want to give you something meaningful for you showing up. So, for all event attendees, you are being opted in to a drawing to win one of our marketplace focused services. You'll have the opportunity to choose from complimentary access to our Spark community app, listing optimization, as well as a 30-minute executive strategic coaching. So, how do you enter? I'm sure you're wondering. We want you to submit a question during our Q&A section, and anyone who submits a question is opted in to the giveaway. We'll announce at random. We'll leverage a random selection tool, and we will announce at the end of this month who is the winner. So we really look forward to having you participate in this conversation, share your challenges, ask questions, and really become engaged in the Spark community. Now, I want to be clear that Spark didn't come from theory. It came from execution, and we're here to help you understand why the marketplace is more than just a listing. It's a revenue exercise. And with that, I want to introduce someone who has lived this journey. Let's welcome our president and CTO, Dexter Hardy.
Hello,
Hey, Dexter, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And I think where we should start is actually Integral story. How did Integral become a marketplace firm?
So thanks for that, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for everyone who joined the call. Um, Integral's story is not unique or unlike most companies out there. We actually been a Microsoft partner for 20 years, and during that time we were an SI focused on delivering things around the Microsoft ecosystem and integrations, etc. And this small thing called COVID happened, forced us to think about, how do we deliver consulting? How do we deliver value to our customers in this disconnected world? And it got me to start thinking about consulting 2.0. How do you add the things that we do well? How do we empower other people to do that? And then that got us to where we are now, which is package up our IP, package up the things that we do well as or our superpower, as it will, and deploy that via the marketplace. And so we pivoted from being a systems integrator
Okay.
to now we are a software development company, SDC. And, the rest is history. We focused on publishing solutions that got us from our first solution, got us to 44 countries. And then over the next 2 years, we were in over 100 countries. So definitely a big pivot for us.
Wow, that is tremendous growth. What a pivot. And also, obviously, at a pivotal time, right? Um, But what I think you're not sharing is that that journey wasn't as seamless as it sounds. What and it really didn't occur overnight. Being able to generate the type of customer reach that you saw. What did it truly take to get there?
So for us, it took what we have now labeled internally as our Spark GTM methodology. Really looking at what worked for us. One is having a laser focus on adding value to our customers.
Mhm.
Uh, Two, looking at the total attainable market of what was happening at that moment. If you think back to COVID, COVID had everyone needs to be in the cloud. So migrations had to happen and they needed to happen in a seamless, quick way. And
Mm,
so what we focused on was how can we turn people who are used to data centers or having their information in their local, IT closet, how do we get them and prepare them to be able to move quickly and succinctly into the cloud? So the outcomes as a service is what we really were focused on. And
okay.
so our software solutions were put into place to do that. So yeah.
No, that's great. And can we also talk a little bit about alignment, right? I think there's some alignment with Microsoft priorities that came as part of that journey. Is that true?
Yes. Yeah, and that's a really key thing. So two things that I would say you really want to focus on. First of all, you absolutely want to focus on your customer or the value add to the customer. But
Mhm.
what we also saw was there was alignment with KPIs or initiatives that Microsoft had. If you are new to the Microsoft ecosystem or to the hyperscaler ecosystem, migrations is one of the biggest things
Yes.
that you'll hear over and over again. And so our GTM aligned not only with an outcome for the customer, but it also aligned with a Microsoft sales play as well.
And you know, you're aligning with Microsoft, and I feel like there's so many signals that they throw out there. I think one most recently is they released a blog about their total addressable market. There is a $300 billion total addressable market for marketplace, and so what that means for partners is, and I'm going to make some assumptions here, is everyone needs to figure out how they get their piece of the pie. Is that true?
Yeah, so I'm gonna double click on what you said and unpack that $300 billion number. That's a number that they're looking at, and they've served up under committed spend with Azure,
Mhm.
and it's specific to they're looking at it around the marketplace. And why is it important? Why are we having a conversation about marketplace? Why are we talking about marketplace or leaning into marketplace? If you don't have a transactable solution or a transactable offer in the marketplace, guess who's going to miss out on that opportunity? And so, what we're telling everyone and what we're trumpeting from as high a mountain as we can, you need to be in marketplace to be a part of that next motion. One of my good friends, Vince, is always talking about the tectonic shifts around the industry and ecosystem, and marketplace is a huge part of that. So we want people to be locked in and part of that opportunity.
For sure. And I think what's interesting, and you kind of touched on something there, that it actually, uh, so often partners think their partner type is what is going to drive whether or not they should be transacting on the marketplace. And what I'm hearing from you is really that doesn't matter. And folks need to hear marketplace and think a distribution channel. Um, we know that Microsoft is investing heavily in the marketplace, but the reality of what most partners are facing is much different. That it's not about just launching and listing, and it can be a bit complex. So while the opportunity is there, the ability to hone in on that opportunity can create barriers for some.
Yeah, and I hear this, and I'll answer this in this way. When you think marketplace, traditionally you would think of a SaaS company or you were a software company or an ISV. And in the ecosystem of marketplace, it needs to transition to transactable offer. And that's something that you can go to the marketplace, click on get it now, and start the journey with the customer. And the reason I say that it's no longer just an ISV or an SDC, because specifically to the Microsoft ecosystem, they have, and it's going to sound like alphabet soup, that there are REOs, there's multi-party private offers. There are these different ways for consulting companies and or systems integrators to bundle solutions and sell it together. The REO is a way for a distie to get involved with a software development company and sell a transactable offer. So, traditionally it was, hey, we're a software development company or an ISV, and we are in the marketplace with a transactable offer. However, in this version of marketplace, you're able to bundle and create transactable offers if you're a CSP, an MSP, an ISV, an
Mhm.
SI. So it opens up the realm of who can be in marketplace, and it changes the playing field.
So that actually leads me to guess hone in on a little bit. You touched on the Spark GTM method, and which it really is that repeatable system. Now, can you help us understand what are some misconceptions you had going into your marketplace experience as you made that shift from an SI to what is now an SDC?
So I would say the biggest shift and the biggest misconception is, create your solution and publish it, and you're done.
Hmm.
That is a part of the story, but that is not where the story either begins nor ends. Think about your marketplace as a journey. And what I would say is why I say that's not the beginning or end of the story. It's before you even create your solution, there needs to be thought and a strategy behind, well, does anybody need this solution?
Yeah.
Can you do it versus should you do it should be evaluated. And what we do within our Spark GTM methodology is product viability, right?
Sure.
So we look at whether or not, yes, you can build pretty much anything these days. Is there a market for it?
Right.
Right? So that should be the beginning of your story. The second piece is, are you ready to be in the marketplace?
Hmm.
How do you stack up? Is your organization structured in a way that it can handle it? And then, like I said, going through the different phases that we have in our GTM methodology that steps you through a systematic way of being successful or having successful outcomes, leveraging the marketplace.
That is awesome. And I think that actually is a perfect segue into a conversation that you're going to have with our Chief Revenue Officer, Danielle Estrada. So I'd like to welcome Danielle to the stage where we can talk about what it actually means to leverage this methodology to really be able to tackle those challenges that partners have often. So Danielle, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you. Thank you. And Dexter, thank you for joining me here on stage, coming in as the Chief Revenue Officer here at Integral. Dexter, I think of you as the godfather of the marketplace. That's going to be my new title for you. So, with that being said, I would just love to hear your thoughts and your perspective on the marketplace and how you leverage the marketplace as a partner. If we zoom out, the best marketplace partners do a few things well, right? They have their business foundation set up, they have a viable product, they build the marketplace into their overall business strategy, they have a strong go to market motion. And once they begin generating revenue, they optimize, they refine, and they repeat that motion. I would love your thoughts on the methodology that Integral has developed and how that aligns to what partners can do well in leveraging the marketplace.
Yeah, so thanks for that, and it's a pleasure to have you here. I love your energy. It's always great to have a superpower such as yourself on our team. And what I would say to specifically to your question is, people who are looking to leverage marketplace. And when you think about a methodology, everyone is in different locations on their journey. So I'm going to talk about us in this example. So we were an SI, had nothing in marketplace, knew nothing about marketplace, but we were pivoting and shifting into marketplace, right? So our methodology starts with the marketplace strategic advisory, right? Because in order to understand how that's going to change fundamentally your organization, how do you create this flywheel of that 24-hour sales guy that's going to now bring in leads, or it's going to change fundamentally how you do sales at your organization. That's where we start with that marketplace strategic advisory. The second piece, once we do that, there are outcomes or execution items that we need to do, right? And again, I'll use another organization that we've kind of helped in the past. They were already a partner. They had listings in the marketplace, but they're like, yeah, we're not really getting the downloads. We're not seeing the execution that we want. So out of that, we came out with, okay, there's a marketplace listing and or coaching session that needs to happen as part of that. Because if you're an organization, you have it already. Are your banking and your billing information going to the right business unit or stew within your organization? Is your listing optimized to focus on your ICP? Yes, you may have a product that's out there, you've done the TAM, you've done the research, but are you actually showing up the way you should from an SEO standpoint, from an SEM standpoint? Have you created a call to action for your customers? And so we have a methodology around that optimization as well.
Mhm.
Once you get past that point, and again, if you look at within the Microsoft ecosystem, there's build, there's deploy, there's grow. Once we get to that growth phase, like you have a strategy, you know what you want to do now, you have a roadmap, then you go in and you deploy it, right? So we can help you understand, okay, based on what it is you're trying to do with your strategy specifically, there are certain solution types that you can deploy within Azure. And so what we do in our methodology, we create a roadmap to show you, based on your solution, here's the best path forward. And then last but not least, so now you're in the marketplace, you have an optimized listing. How do you land and expand? How do you take those leads and then continue that flywheel to drive more engagement, grow your business and your organization? Pretty much like what we did. Like when we're in over 100 countries, and we're continuing to go into those different markets. So again, what we're taking is our opinionated approach and what worked for us, and then we're surfacing that up to others to allow them to be successful as well.
Dexter, you had me at 24-hour salesperson. I mean, there's power in that and really impact in that when we really think about where we're going in the market. We're leveraging AI and everything that's happening. And really, if you're not thinking about selling a different way, you're going to get left behind. So really thinking about having that 24-hour seller is very impactful to me as your chief revenue officer. But let's talk about for a second where folks go wrong, right? If you could share your thoughts on how you've been thinking about this for companies, particularly for those who are growing, right? You touched on this a little bit. How does the Spark go-to-market methodology support those who may not have a big team or may not have a ton of resources? Like, what do they do?
So in our lived experience, some of our customers are like, this is great. You have a great methodology. Awesome. But can you just do it for us? Right. So we have our marketplace as a service offering, right? And so our team aligns with your team, understands your KPIs, understands what your objectives and goals are. We make recommendations on what we're doing and what you need to do and what we see the opportunity is for your organization. And we fold that into and run those operations for you. So again, it's one of those things where, yes, you're a growing organization. We don't have the skill set. We don't have the manpower to do it. Offload that to us and our team. We actually help that marketplace as a service motion for you. And again, with that marketplace as a service, that's a continual process, right? Because as you get your listing out there, maybe you want to do some campaigns, maybe you want to align with the Microsoft sales play. All of those things become part of that motion that gets you to build momentum, right? That 24-hour sales guy is great, but is it into now we can start talking about, or how are you leveraging those leads inside of your CRM? Are you listing things in your win wires, you know, presenting that back to Microsoft to show your impact as a partner? And again, around that methodology, lighting up all the signals within your organization to help you grow that marketplace and how that impacts your sales within your partner ecosystem.
Got it. Got it. Again, you always drop in all those great nuggets for us. And I appreciate, your perspective. I think that what's often lost is that the marketplace is a three-sided ecosystem, right? We have the hyperscaler, we have the customer, and we have the partner. So those strong listings can still fail when you only have one side that's optimized. So.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So as kind of continuing here, we're talking about the methodology, but remind us for those that are new, what is Spark? Talk to us about what that is. What does that mean?
So Spark is let me be very clear. Spark is both an app that you can download from the either the Google Play or the Apple Store. And it is a master class on the Marketplace Center of Excellence. It'll take you through a DIY. It takes you through all the steps of the methodology that we have in place. So that's one version of what Spark is. The second version of what Spark is consulting services. So again, depending on where you are in your journey, are you adventurous and you want to do it on your own? Or do you need that additional help and that additional service to white glove and make it a concierge? We're being very strategic with you as an advisor to your organization. And so that consulting service, that's where you'll plug into the marketplace advisory, you'll plug into our marketplace coaching, you can get some of the technical deployment and or help around optimization of that. Listing optimization is part of that. And then, all of that bundled together is our marketplace as a service. So again, when you look at Spark and when you hear the word Spark, it exists in two ways to consume it, right? There's an app which has, a way for you to go there. And that, even if you're part of the consulting services, I think there's value in being a part of that community where you can ask questions, you can drive engagement, you can speak to and have an opportunity to chat and look at other resources that come available that are top of mind for ISVs. But then again, time, there's only 24 hours in a day, right? So,
Right.
if you need to offload that and you need our additional help from a resource standpoint, we have that as a consulting service.
Yeah. So when I think about, community, I think about its peer intelligence. There's templates, the go-to-market structure, consulting services. That's the hands-on execution, the revenue planning, the co-sell architecture. So earlier, Dexter, we talked about Integral's lived experience. It's that experience that sets us apart in the market. As the founder who was, once on a journey to find marketplace support, why Spark? Why now?
So, good question. I've answered a lot of questions around marketplace. People are, I'll use the word befuddled when they start the journey. Um, if you're not in Partner Center and you get hung up getting into Partner Center, I've heard the nightmare stories of like, oh my gosh, how can you help me? I'm trying to put a ticket in, but I'm not a partner already, and they're asking me for my partner ID, and it's the rap song, I gotta have ID to get ID. Like you run into that, and that's a real thing, right? And so what I say to people is, Spark was created to to decrease your time to value. A lot of people focus on time to market, but if you go to market with something that nobody wants, what was the point, right? So we're saying time to value. And so Spark is a time to value play for the ecosystem. And one other thing that I'll touch on with that is, if you, again, I touched on this earlier, especially now with AI, you can build just about anything. The question that we should be asking ourselves is, should we build it? Is there a market out there for it? Have you done the research that says, if we build this thing, just like Alyssa started us out with the total addressable market that Microsoft is looking at as a $300 billion number, have you done that research? And if not, why not? Because that's just as important as the solution that you're building.
Yeah. So I know we're gonna pivot, and Alyssa's gonna join us here, but I just gotta say that, in being a part of the Integral family, Dexter, you've created something that is just truly unique, and something that every single partner, customer, everyone needs, and everyone needs to understand. So I am truly grateful and excited to be a part of this journey with you, and all the great things that we're going to do at Integral, and the fact that we get to do so much helping the community, helping partners, helping customers. As a former, Microsoftie, right? I've been there. We've been around the block in a number of industries and companies. The time is now for folks to jump on and really understand what we're doing with Spark, and how we are leveraging the marketplace, and how we've jumped on the AI ship, and we're figuring out how to make stuff happen. So thank you, as our founder, for your creativity, your ideas, and all the great things that happen in Integral every single day. So.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you, sir. And I know Alyssa's going to jump back on here, and we're going to shift over to talking about some customer stories.
All right. Awesome.
Hey, Danielle.
Hey.
I love that conversation, because I think that you landed on the fact that, one, yes, Dexter is the godfather of the marketplace. Like, let's get that cleared away. Because really what is remarkable is the way in which, at least, I know you and I have seen that he's systematically taking a look at what the problem is. What do we see that folks consistently encounter and experience as challenges for marketplace adoption, and said, let's create a framework, right? Let's create a true framework. And, as we've been engaging with customers, we've seen a few common themes. At least I have. There's a few that really stand out to me, and I'd love to hear the ones that stand out to you. But, really, I've been seeing that Partner Center is one of those things that should, in theory, be easy, particularly, when you're engaging with Microsoft as your hyperscaler. And we found that there are partners who unknowingly have multiple publisher IDs, and they're getting paid out of one, but not the other. So they're looking for the money, and that's lost revenue. That's lost time. That's lost, ability to pay for resources that and then they're subsequently not seeing the value of the marketplace.
Right.
We've also engaged with teams who really didn't consider why and how they should structure their payouts to support various business units within their organization, right? It is a revenue funnel. It is an additional channel, and it should be a part of your overarching strategy and flywheel. And I think, when we talk about the Spark go-to-market method, it is really taking a look at how you are approaching business and integrating marketplace into your flywheel of execution, right? That generates revenue. It's a part of your strategy. It's not your only strategy. I think one of the things that I personally see as a misconception is that marketplace is, okay, I've landed there, let's go. And it's so much more than that. It is a distribution channel. And so it does require business strategy as a core component. And, I've also seen folks who, and I think Dexter alluded to this, it's that ticketing loop. You haven't even gotten in before they're saying, well, we can't let you in. And you're like, but I'm just trying to get in. And,
Right.
And it becomes this relentless cycle and queue of people who are just standing, waiting in line, and subsequently give up. But the really cool thing is we've hacked the system, right? We figured out that
Crack the code.
we cracked the code. There is an easier way. And I really think that there is value in cracking the code for folks to really reduce that friction. Because it's easy to say, well, it doesn't work. Let me just go onto a different hyperscaler. Let me just explore a different pathway. But it becomes a missed opportunity, right? There's multiple pathways, and there's multiple hyperscalers. And really, if you're doing good business, you need to figure out a pathway that helps your business, expand beyond just one singular focus. I think Dexter also alluded to the total addressable market.
Yeah.
Right? We've seen so many folks who go in building the product and there's no market, right? They're wondering why no one's picking up their product or their offer on the marketplace. And it's like, well, it's really cool what you built, but is there a market for it? So I love that our method enables us to dive in and say, let's look at what your true opportunity is. But you've also engaged with a few partners. So those are just my examples. I would love to know what's been most surprising for you as you've embarked on this journey with us.
Yeah, sure. I would say one of the most surprising things that I've seen is the lack of awareness of the marketplace and the value that it can bring. And so part of my career, I'll talk about when I was at Microsoft, I helped stand up our federal customer success unit. And that was a time when Microsoft was hyper focusing on adoption and consumption. Sure. And there were customers that were investing millions and billions of dollars in technology, and they had no idea what the true benefit and value was, and their employees weren't using them. So they were investing in technology, but folks weren't using it because they didn't understand. And so I share that to kind of bring back that when it comes to marketplace, and one of the things that Integral is doing, and I'm so proud to be a part of the brand and the team that's doing this, is educating, right? We've got to educate folks on what the marketplace is and what the value is. You were talking about it earlier, Dexter and I talked about it. The fact that you can have a 24-hour salesperson, you can be sleeping at night and the meters are spinning and the opportunities are coming in. It is that simple, but it takes time and education and understanding to truly invest in the marketplace and understand what it is and how to use it. I think the other thing is that there are so many companies that are building these remarkable solutions, but they don't have a place to land them. What's happening with it? It's just sitting out there. It's an idea, it's a concept. They're pouring so much into it, but they're not realizing the revenue and the value out of what they could be getting out of that great idea, that great solution that's been built, but it's not getting into the hands of the rest of the market. So the bottom line is there's, like you were saying, there's multiple channels by which you can get your solutions out into the market. This is the easy button. This is the easy button. And so coming over to the Integral team and understanding, leveraging Spark, getting on the Spark app if you're not sure where to start, if you want to learn, you want to do it yourself and get educated, we're really encouraging companies to leverage the tools that we've built because, like you said, we've cracked the code. We understand that trying to get into the marketplace and leverage new channels to generate revenue. Now, I'm saying we cracked the code, but that doesn't mean that it's easy, right? And so when you have a company like Integral that's taken the time to give you the easy button to make it easier for you, so that when you've got that great idea and we can walk you through all the things that are going to be needed so that you can, focus your time on what I say to Dexter is stay in the lab, right? You're ideating and you're coming up with new solutions and new ideas, right? Let us take the hard part, for you and get you up and running in the marketplace. That's what I talk to customers about all the time, is so that you can stay focused on your core foundation and building solutions, and you have a source and a resource that you can use to help make sure that you're going to be, generating all that revenue that should be coming out of that, right? So that's the thing that's been, most surprising, to me, and where I think folks really need to go is just get educated, understand what the marketplace is. How are you going to leverage it? Because if you're not on the marketplace, you are missing out. You are just leaving money on the table.
Oh, absolutely. And it's also, I'm going to kind of double click on that, is it is a signal. It is a signal that you are ready. It is a signal that your technology is ready, and people have a place to purchase it, right? It allows you to distribute your technology or your idea or your service. It is it is a signal to the ecosystem. And so it is the place that everyone, regardless of the type of company you are, where it needs to be.
Yep. So give us a shout. Come get on the marketplace.
So we're going to welcome Dexter back on stage. I think Dexter also has a few just incredible examples of, how folks have leaned into his expertise as what we're now dubbing the godfather of the marketplace. Dexter, again, give us some insights of the things that you've seen as you've gone and engaged with clients.
Okay, I'm definitely going to do that, but I want to rewind about 10 seconds, 15 seconds into the comment. And you guys said it's the easy button. And I'm a sports person. I'm heavy into sports, so bear with me with my analogy. If you're playing football, do you want somebody who's played football on your team and that actively plays football? Or do you want somebody who's read about football and theoretically understands football to be on your team? Integral plays football every day.
Yep.
We make our living playing football, and playing football is being in marketplace, deploying to marketplace. So I'm going to connect it for people who can't make the connection. So we play football. We get the reps every day. We practice our Spark GTM methodology every day. Whereas when you look at the marketplace and the ecosystem around it, there are people who theoretically have come up with ideas on how it works and can provide services. We are living the example every day. So I had to go back to that. I mean, I know it's an easy button, but everybody sees Usain Bolt, like I was a track person too. You would see him run and he just leave floating down the track. But nobody saw the 20 years of lifting weights and all the effort and energy and preparation that was put into that. And so what you're able to see now with our methodology is that 20 years of preparation and getting us to a point where now we can impart that knowledge to you. And yes, it seems easy.
For sure. I'm going to actually double tap into your football analogy. It is Tom Brady going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2020 after leaving the Patriots and winning a Super Bowl. That's what it is. It is, we need a championship. Let's bring in a champion.
There you go.
There we go. All right. So back to the original question you asked, like, what are some of the things that I've seen customers do? How do I see customers lean in? What are some of the challenges or questions that they may face? And again, it's gonna vary depending on where you are. Some of the things that customers have kind of leaned in or asked for are, you know, hey, we have solutions out there. How do we aggregate these? How do we align these with the Microsoft sales plays? How do we realign them with our internal KPIs? I mean, if you're a big organization, obviously your objectives change, your resourcing change, and then how you do that. So part of what we're going to do there is just kind of optimize that. There's a way to optimize that so that we lean into what's my team may laugh at me. Start, stop, continue. What do we need to start? What do we need to stop?
Yeah.
And what do we need to continue? And I don't want to make it sound like it's that simple, but at the end of the day, it really is that simple. Like we have a methodology to help you do that. The other piece is stage and phase. You have to break things down in stages and phases because I'm going to use a basketball analogy. If you were playing basketball, Michael Jordan, I'm the Michael Jordan era of basketball players. He's just like, go just dunk the ball. Like, what are you doing? Just dunk the ball. Like, get the ball, dunk it. And our customers are the person that is like, bro, I can't even touch the rim. Like, what are we talking about here? So at the stage and phase, the stage is, all right, we got the exercises that'll get you to the point where you can get to the point where you can jump and actually dunk the ball. And that's where we're talking about. So translating that to marketplace, if you're thinking about marketplace or have no idea where to start, we put together the roadmap that gets you ready so that you can dunk the basketball. Dunking the basketball is we're out here, people are downloading our solutions. It's a 24-hour sales guide. We're, expanding our reach into different regions. We're lighting up our sales team. We're getting these leads. We're doing win wires. So again, I'm using these sports analogies to kind of put it in, but we're not sitting there saying, hey, just dunk the ball. We're saying, where are you right now? We're doing this assessment. We're doing this advisory. We're saying, where do you stand right now? What is your ability? What is your capability? And then we have a systematic way or a rubric of taking you from where you are to being great. So.
Awesome. Well, I think I've seen some questions in the chat, and so we're going to transition to Q&A, and we'll keep our answers practical and execution focused, but really what I would love is, let's get some answers to the questions that are pressing. I see a few questions in terms of, time investment, right? There are organizations who have spent lots and lots of time trying to get into the marketplace. And so where does I see this question from Cybertech, where does a founder begin when they've invested time, money, and energy into accelerator after accelerator, yet they still don't see a clear path to meaningful transaction or success in the marketplace? What do you say?
So I would say definitely come talk to our team. The marketplace advisor is where we would start with you. Because what we would want to do there is just really look at what have you done? where do things exist right now with your organization? And then what we would do is come up with recommendations to get you to that next phase. So again, what is the time commitment? I'm not going to say that I'm going to use another analogy about doctors and medicine. So bear with me. If you went to a doctor and you sat down in front of him and he took a scalpel and he's like, okay, I'm putting my mask on, I'm about to start cutting. Everybody be like, what in the world are you doing, dude? Same thing in software, same thing in tech. We have to ask you questions. We have to engage with you about where you are in your journey. And from that, it could be a myriad of outcomes that you have. But we are the experts in marketplace. We have been there, done that. Again, I'll remind everyone, we had zero solutions in marketplace prior to 2020. And so those things that you are getting, those questions that you have about time and commitment and
Mhm.
getting stuck, we have a rubric of making sure that we understand what your objective is, what you've done, and it's not theoretical. I had a conversation with one of our newest employees who just finished up school, and I said, college teaches you how to learn, teaches you problem solving,
Yeah.
doesn't show you how to apply it. And what we're doing is we're saying, how do you apply what you are doing around the marketplace? We're telling you, based on what you do as a business, here's how you apply that to your organization and stack that into another stream of revenue. I start out with R0, R1, and my team is like, R0, what is that? What's R1? It's revenue streams. And what you're doing is you're monetizing your value across the value chain for your customers. So you're saying we provide value here as a MSP, as an SI, as a software development company. But how do you extend that beyond where you are right now? And the marketplace gives you the ability to do that.
That's great. And actually a perfect segue into the next question that I'm seeing in the chat is from LinkedIn. What does a strong marketplace first motion look like for early teams? You're speaking of revenue streams, right?
Yep.
But you have to start somewhere. So what does that look like for an early emerging organization?
Guess what I'm going to say? Stage and phase. If you're early on, our goal is to help you devise a marketplace strategy that is a repeatable marketplace strategy. So you're early on, we get you set up in marketplace, we check your marketplace readiness to be able to scale. Once we have that, we get a solution. So same thing, the same approach we took. We needed a solution in the marketplace to be IP co-sale eligible to even get us relevant in marketplace. So our goal is to get you from, if you have no solution, to get you to a solution that is downloaded and making $1. And I say $1 because, again, people have solutions out there that people don't click on and aren't transacting and doesn't create ACR, and you're not showing up. So the first goal is for the first stage of the journey is we got to get you in the marketplace.
Yeah.
Right.
Once you're in the marketplace, it's a different conversation because now the goal is not to be in marketplace anymore. The goal is the next phase. The next phase is, how do we get this generating money? How do we get eyes? Yes, we've done all the research, the theory behind it. How do we implement that? And how do we execute on that? How does that level up to, we're getting these leads and we're throwing them over to our sales team to get that moving? So stage and phase. If you're early on in the marketplace, again, the methodology works no matter where you are. If you're a startup, if you're a college student ready to go and start embarking on, hey, I got this idea, I want to take it to market. Our program will help you, whether you're that small or that novice in marketplace, because I'm not going to say early, you're emerging. Everyone is emerging. So
Yep.
you're either emerging, or you could be a large multinational organization, and you just need help aligning, making sure that it's optimized, making sure that you're checking all the boxes to run an efficient marketplace strategy. So again, our methodology works across all of those. Obviously, if you're small and you're looking to scale, or if you're large and looking to optimize, we have something for you.
Yeah.
So you, oh, go ahead, Danielle. I'll let you
Just
pop in.
super quick. I'm a break chain here.
Yeah.
I think the world needs to understand some of what we call Dexterisms. If you come to Integral, which is a great place to work, we have fun and we have an entire dictionary of Dexterisms. And so the reason why we laugh is because you never get through a day without hearing stage and phase, and Dexter loves to talk us through the stages and phases. He will talk to us about what to start, stop, and to continue doing. He will invite us to consider many things. So you have to understand that the chuckle there is Dexter's laboratory has its own little science behind it, and he's teaching it to all of us. So back to you, Alyssa.
No, and actually, I think I'll kind of let you two ping pong this question. We see from Cybertech asking about, do we help partners who are seeking to achieve solution designations? And I think there's many layers to this in terms of how Marketplace can help with that, particularly when we think about the metrics that quote unquote matter, right? And how Marketplace can enable that. But I would love if the two of you could help tackle that question.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll go first and let Dexter finish off. I think the answer is, and the short answer is yes. And when you ask that question about solution designations, I think it goes even beyond that. Right, is what we do is we help to make sure that you have the complete foundation in place to make sure that you can transact on the marketplace. It's solution designations, and it's much more. So, working with us, we make sure that when you put an offer on the marketplace, or when it's on the marketplace, that we have set you up for complete success to enable you to drive revenue through the marketplace. So how'd I do, Dexter?
So I would say, and Spark is really about how to be a good partner.
Yeah.
You've invested a lot in the Microsoft Partner Program. And what Spark is really doing is helping you unlock all the aspects of your partner program. And what we look at, and we're coming at it from the lens of marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get behind the scenes, every partner, especially in this new version of Microsoft, ACR is a part of everything that you're doing.
Absolutely.
So, and the only way you get to ACR is by transactable offers, and that is part of the marketplace. So I really want to make sure that as people are looking at that, we're talking about, one, software and solution designations are great, but how does that align with your business all up?
Right.
One. Two, again, that roadmap. What does it make sense for you to lean into? How do you lean into those solution designations, and how do you maximize on the benefits from those solution designations? How do you combine your solution designation and your net new customer adds with the solution that you just published in Marketplace? Again, it becomes part of that bigger strategy. And then how do you even sell it, right? So you're an MSP, you're a CSP, MSP, SIs. Hey, we have this go-to-market framework that we implement, we're selling it as part of our go-to-market on both sides of the fence. So now it's not just on the marketplace, but you're also using your own solution. And so I want to make sure that everyone knows that it's not just when we say become a Microsoft partner and get involved with Spark. Yes, it's through the lens of having transactable offers, because I don't want it to just say you're an SDC, but transactable offers can be done by any type of Microsoft partner.
Right.
At this point.
Absolutely.
And so what we're saying to you is, how do we help you leverage the marketplace as an SDC, as an ISV, as a MSP, as a systems integrator or SI? We're looking at it all up, and what does that look like for your organization? So solution designation is but one of the many things that we help you unlock with Spark.
Well, I think that is a great point to end on. Essentially what we're doing is really creating pathways for partners through the marketplace and being able to see a different way to generate revenue and to really take advantage of that total addressable market, right? You have to be in there and you have to be participating in order to get your piece of the pie. And so, again, I kind of want to double click on the pathways that we offer between our app community, which can be found at app.spark.integral.com. At that URL, you can also reach out to us if you are interested in consulting services. What's really great is because we have an app community, you can also take the community, the guidance, the masterclass on the go with you. And the app is available on the Apple and Google app stores. So we invite you to consider downloading the app, joining the community, joining the conversation. And, as more questions come up, we are here to answer them. So again, download the app on the App Store and we'd love to engage. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one.